Hello, everyone. Um, my name is Purvis, and I want to get this message out. And this is something that I feel I got to do. I can't prolong it. We got this video actually being done up a little bit better. We putting together a production team that's going to put a little bit more life to this message. But until that happens, I got to get this word out so that everyone can know what's going on. First off, let me say I am called to the body of Christ, born again believers. So if this video finds you and you're not born again, you may not accept some of the things I'm saying, but if you look at all of what I'm saying, you can really get an understanding, especially from my people, the African descendants. All right. From the beginning of time, the devil has always been after the plan of God. From heaven, he tried to disrupt God's plan, wanted to take God's place. God had to throw him out. He went to the Garden of Eden, and then from the Garden of Eden, he tried to mess up God's plan, and ultimately got man kicked out of the Garden of Eden, where God had given man to have dominion. And then even from just humans, the scientists say they cannot prove that there is a God, but scientists do say that they can prove that the first man, whoever made him, was of African descent. So that African bloodline was the first human, and or the human was from African bloodline. And the devil has been attacking the African people as well as the African land from the very beginning. The devil has been trying to destroy the plan of God. Everywhere you look around the African continent, there's been much perversion, a lot of foreign influence that have raped that beautiful country of its resources, that people that are not from Africa, don't live in Africa, benefit from the resources of Africa, while the Africans themselves suffer and are poor and really living way below poverty level. You know, if you look at what we call poverty here in the United States, that's good living compared to some parts of Africa. So the devil has always been trying to attack the plan of God, the people of God, even the land that God had established the first people on. And what you're seeing now, this attack against black people, against Africa, the land of Africa, the perversion of the land of Africa, the hatred toward dark-skinned people like myself and darker from African descendants. It's more spiritual than anything else. And you have to understand that if we're going to win this fight, and again, I'm called to the body of Christ, we're going to win it using spiritual tools. We're not going to win using natural tools. I don't believe I'm called to march. I don't believe I'm called to go to Washington and protest. I believe I'm called to build the children of God that they can live a life that they can really start gaining. In right now, the time now God is giving us is that we're going to start receiving the fullness of God. African descendants, the people of God, the children of God, you are going to start receiving wealth. You're going to start receiving great increase. It's not going to be handed to you. You will not be rewarded in your laziness. But there are a handful, a remnant of people that will go out and make things happen. Will not wait for something to be handed to them or something to fall out the sky. You know my teaching, if you follow me at all. I'm not a teacher of just go to the mailbox. I'm a teacher of go somewhere and learn and better yourself. All right. So that's where we are. I don't think marching and protesting and all this stuff is going to get rid of racism or hatred toward blacks or Jews. The neo-Nazi, white supremacist groups, the Klan, that's not going to go away by you marching. That's my opinion, all right? But if you feel like that's your calling, you're called to march, by all means, go and march and do your thing, all right? Well, I was in prayer one time, and I was just talking to God about Martin Luther King. And I was like, God, I really believe this was the worst thing ever happened to us, was for him constantly trying to integrate us, constantly trying to get us to be a part of white society. But we were doing better prior to trying to get with other ethnic groups. We had our own hotels, schools, churches, all those things, and we were doing quite well. And us having our own don't mean we hate anybody. It's just simply established us. And I was just praying about that, and God began to show me some things about Martin Luther King. And he said, I sent Martin Luther King into the earth to bring about unity, and I wanted him to use my tools to do that. That's why he could not, I instructed him not to go in with a fight, but go with a message of love and peace, nonviolent. I wanted to use my tools to bring unity together, and to bring the people together as one. Whether you were white or black, they all could come into one goal and live in harmony. And on October the 19th, I was driving my truck. I was at work, and I had a conversation with God, and God said something. And this is the whole purpose of all of this, because not only is it the time for the people of God to excel, whatever you're doing, whatever business you're working, whatever plan you're working, to be a success. And granted, you got to be working a plan. I am not called to a bunch of lazy people that are looking for God to do something for you, and you have nothing to say you've earned. I'm not called for you. There is no pie in the sky for you. For you that's working your assignment, you that are working toward a goal, you're going to find things to become easier. You're going to find favor, things that normally would be a stronger challenge is going to be made easy. God is about to increase the people of God and really elevate us. But here's what's so important. God said to me, I didn't send Martin Luther King to black people in America. Hear me on this. He said, I did not send Martin Luther King to the black people in America. He said, I sent Martin Luther King for the white people in America. Black people was the tool, was his voice to help get this message out. The marching and all that. He said, I was coming for the whites because what the devil was doing through them, I tried to bring to a halt. And I used my tools to do it. The only reason they had access, and because I know some people will say, well, how did God let them kill Martin Luther King? Toward the end of Martin Luther King's tenure, his fight, Martin Luther King began to give speeches that was different than his earlier years of his rallies, his motivation to bring about unity through peace. And he started talking about he was tired and that he was getting weary. And he don't even know if what he's been hoping for is ever going to come to pass. Martin Luther King lost the faith. The only way they had access to Martin Luther King to kill him was because Martin Luther King got off course. He got tired, he got weary, and as a result, the devil had access to him. That's why the Bible tells us to be not weary in well-doing. When God gives us an assignment, we're to do it until we die. No matter what the results may look like, we are to do what God tells us until we die. God said, I didn't send him, Martin Luther King, for blacks. I sent Martin Luther King to the whites of America because the evil that was consuming them, I wanted to bring to a halt. They were part of a devil's plan, some born in to a mindset of hating the people of God and not even knowing why. Just my grandfather hated you, my father hated you, I'm going to hate you. But God said I wanted to bring it to a stop. Right now, and I'm very careful not to say in this season, but in this time we're in, you're going to see elevation of the people of God like you've never saw before. Be not weary in well-doing. What God is doing, he is going to blow the minds of the people that thought we were to be depressed and oppressed, that thought anything we get had to be handed to us. God said, no longer. I will raise my people up. And the world will know, beside me, there is no other God. I'm not to be compared to no other. I want you to find out what God has called you to do and do it. Work it. Don't get weary in well-doing. There's going to be another video that's going to come out It's going to be a little bit better than what I'm doing, but this word was burning me in my spirit, and I had to get it out. God never sent Martin Luther King to the black people. God sent Martin Luther King for the white people. White people of America, God sent Martin Luther King. He used blacks to reach out, to show you what you were doing, to try to get you to halt what you were doing toward others that were different than you. But that evil consumed them. Now, this is not a hate speech. I have white associates that are good people. So don't take for a minute this is a hate speech. This is not a hate rally. We got to keep on loving. Don't get distracted with the hatred that's going on in this world. Stay focused on your assignment. God is going to raise you up that you'll be able to make a difference. You and the people you influence, that's where your focus need to be. This is a time, and this is the place where you are now that you're going to have dominion. May the blessings of the Lord be upon your life. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither has it entered into the hearts of men what God is going to do for you. God bless you. Be safe now and keep working.